Welcome everyone to J-Wolf Tech Broadcast. This is actually a video I meant to do months ago, but actually didn't get around to do it. I do want to introduce a little bit more on the side of cinematography in movies and entertainment. That being said, there was a lot of movies in 2012 that a lot of people haven't seen. So this is going to be my list of movies that you probably haven't heard of, but actually should have seen in 2012 over some of these big budget titles that were out there. Many of these movies, actually the majority of them, there's a few that I haven't seen. I will mention that, but I'm dying to see them. I really am. I just need to be able to sit down 2-3 hours and be able to actually sit down and knock them out. That being said, these are movies that are usually made on a low budget. They're usually not very well marketed. Not necessarily not very well marketed. They just don't have the money behind them to market them. And they're just movies that honestly were some of the best movies in 2012 that I actually didn't see in theaters because most of them weren't playing locally where I was at, or I just didn't get around to actually seeing them. That being said, I actually have 7, and then I have a few big budget films that some people haven't heard of before, and it's shocking to me. But let's jump in and see what we actually got here. The first one's going to be The Raid Redemption. If you haven't heard of this movie, definitely check it out. If you're into any type of action, martial arts, even any type of crime, drama, tension, there's even some parts that made me that really made me cringe. And it's basically about a member of a SWAT team that's going into a huge complex. It's kind of like a huge apartment building, and it has kind of this mob drug lord boss and all of his bad guys with him. And by far, this is one of the best action fighting movies I've ever seen. I mean, the things they are doing with knives and peoples and elbows and feet and just the fighting aspect of it is crazy. And it's there's parts that are really gruesome, especially the way that they kill some people, but the way that they just go about things. This movie was made, I believe, on a couple $1 million, and it's an Indonesian movie, and it's done by Garth Evans. He actually wrote it and then also directed it. From what I heard about it, I have seen it. I've seen it a few times, and it is by far one of the best action movies that I've seen. Probably the best one in 2012, hands down. It's excellent. You don't get to know the characters as much as I maybe would have liked, but this thing is nonstop action. I mean, 5 minutes in, you are balls to the wall. You're just going, and it's crazy ride, and just some of the things they're able to do, even visually and also just stunt-wise, it's just amazing. And while it might be the same concept over and over, they think of it in totally different ways, and there's just new aspects of things, and it does keep you thinking. It's not just your general fighting movie. There is a lot of fighting in it, a lot of action, but it's a very well done movie, especially for the price point that it was made at. Another movie is actually a movie that I haven't seen yet, but I've really want to see it, but you kind of have to be in the mood for this type of movie. It's Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene. And it actually has Elizabeth Olsen and Hugh Dancy. And this is basically about a woman that's suffering from some paranoia delusions after she returns from a cult. She basically reunites with her family, and then she's able to, I don't know, you really get into things with it. Like I said, I haven't seen it yet. I have a few people that have seen it, and they've kind of, filled me in on things. This definitely looks like a movie that I should have seen in 2012, and one that I'm going to see very soon. I have it ordered. I have it sitting on my little TV stand, ready to go. I just haven't throw it into the Blu-ray player yet. But it looks excellent. It got good reviews all around. It's another movie that most people probably have never heard of. From what I hear, it's a little bit, you're either going to like it or you're not. It's not going to be a movie that everyone's going to love. And I have another movie like that was actually a big blockbuster movie by one of the best directors around that most people, it's hard to recommend to people. My next one is actually a movie I have seen, and it was probably the most moving. I have a lot of movies on here that were moving and romantic and just embrace life, and it is Rustin. This movie I actually have seen, and it actually moved me more than about any other movie out there. It was the most moving, inspirational movie. I don't know, I just enjoyed every second of it, even the down parts. I mean, it's just a well-done movie. But basically, Rustin Bones is about two young individuals that have different lives, different backgrounds, but they both go through a little bit of a tragic event. The one is played by Marion Cotillard, who has actually been in Midnight in Paris. She's been in a lot of movies. She's a great actress, and this is also more of a lower budget oriented film. But basically, she's just a whale trainer, and she has a terrible accident. But she also meets a character. I'm not really sure who he is. He's kind of an unknown, but he's just going through some struggles in life, and it just plays off them too. And it's so well done. It's well shot. It's inspirational, but also it's very heartfelt. I mean, everyone should definitely go check that out. I believe it's been on sale on Blu-ray on Amazon. So definitely, I don't know if it is now, but I have seen it. That's where I got it at, under $10 for Blu-ray. So definitely pick that up and check it out. And the next one is actually a movie I did see not too long ago, which was Liberal Arts. And it was actually directed by Josh Radnor, who is actually in How I Met Your Mother. He I believe he wrote and directed this. He does a lot of that stuff. And basically, this is just about a guy that's struggling with his life and his career path and just the overall aspect of things. And it follows another character around, Elizabeth Olsen, which he actually gets involved with, and she is somewhat younger, and generally you're just following those two around, and they do have a intellectual connection, but overall the age, you just watch the movie and check it out. It was a great movie, and it really didn't get enough credit that it deserved. Overall, the next one was probably probably not. All these are some of my favorite movies, but another one of my favorite movies that's just involved around characters, and it's Your Sister's Sister. And this is basically just a comedy, drama, romantic following of three people who are all having different struggles in their life. Has Emily Blunt in it, who is probably one of the most lovable characters in everything. So anything with her in it is definitely a plus. It has Mark Duplass, who is in The League. I believe he had some part in actually writing this. I'm not 100% positive, but he always seems the movies he's in has some part of that in it. And Rosemarie DeWitt. And, it goes about that Emily Blunt's character actually invites Mark Duplass's character to a cabin for just to relax. He's going through a tough time in life, a death, and Rosemarie DeWitt's character is actually there, and they meet up, and things happen, and it's just about character development and just the growing of these three individuals. I mean, really, it's these three individuals that you're just following around and going through their conversations, but it's so well done. It's well written. It's well acted. It's just a great movie, but it didn't have the budget, and it was produced very cheaply. But it's visually, it's still excellent. It looks like any other top grade A movie out there. So definitely check that out. And the next one is another movie that has Mark Duplass in it, and it's Safety Not Guaranteed. And this is basically three magazine workers that are following a newspaper article around that's seeking a companion for time travel. And it's, they just follow him around, but it has Mark Duplass in it again, and it also has Brie Plaza. I'm not really sure who she is, but she's great in this. And Jake Johnson, who is actually in New Girl. I believe that's the show. I don't know, I don't watch TV, but he's in that, and they're all three great characters. Those are the three main characters. There's some side characters that are also great, but overall, this was excellent. It was a solid, almost a 10 until the end. There's a few things that happen at the end that I would have preferred it to go a different way, but I kind of understand why it went that way. That being said, definitely pick it up. It's been on sale. I believe they had it for rent on iTunes or Amazon for $1.99 for 48 hours, so definitely check that out. It's well worth seeing. And the next one was actually Seven Psychopaths, which kind of gets into these movies had a bigger budget, and they could market a little bit more, and they had some stars in it, but they didn't get the horsepower, I think, global, or from in the United States, of what people should actually be seen. And that is actually going to be Seven Psychopaths, and it has Colin Farrell, Sam Rockwell, Woody Harrelson, Christopher Walken. It has all kinds of top grade A characters in it, but most of the people I know actually have never heard of this movie and never seen it. It's a little bit different, I will say that. You're basically following around Seven Psychopaths. Not gonna spoil a whole lot here because just definitely check it out. That's a movie that you should see. You might have already seen it because, like I said, it was pretty well pretty well broadcasted out there. Another movie that I want to mention is actually The Master. And this movie is shocking that no one. I mean, I mentioned this to people at work to recommend. They might ask for a movie or something like that. They've never heard of this. And then I mentioned that's directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. They never heard of that, so that floors me there. But this movie, I still think it was the best movie of the year, and I think it should have got a little bit more credit than it was. I mean, it had two of the best performances I've ever seen out of an actor. Two actors before my life. Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix, they had some of the best scenes that I've seen out of any movie. If you're into cinematography, any type of movies, definitely check that out. That's something everyone should see. I had another one on this list, but it's gotten so much buzz lately that it's really taken off, and that was Silver Lining Playbook. It's taken off. Everyone knows what's going on with that now. But that's it. I don't do a whole lot on the movie aspect side of things, but I do want to get some more of that up as the time goes along. I may create a different YouTube channel for it. Not sure, but I'll probably just throw my stuff on here while we're going along with things. If you'd like to see more videos like this, definitely let me know. I have movies that you must see in 2013 that I'm going to be working on next. There hasn't been a whole lot of movies out yet that are worth seeing in my minds in theaters, but we have a lot that are coming up. Iron Man 3, there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch coming up. I'll get that in a different video. Iron Man 3 is the first one, though. It's coming up in a few weeks. Thanks, everyone, for watching. J Wolf Tech Broadcast, and I will see you guys next time.